So want to focus on ongoing performance tuning. And this is if whether you're the person assigned to work on this SQL server or whether you're subbing it out to someone or asking for help, that ongoing performance tuning is important to ensure that things are running optimally. Now, there is another way to get around performance tuning, and that is just to ignore the performance tuning and to throw more and more cores of CPU and more memory and bigger virtual machines at it in order for your database to grow. Now, that becomes really expensive, and I do kind of mean that in a hopefully you don't do it position. But some people deal with performance issues just by moving it to a bigger virtual machine and giving it more cores and paying way more for your Microsoft licensing. If you like doing that and can afford doing that, maybe you don't need someone to help you with performance. But eventually, your SQL Server will catch up with you if you're not taking care of performance, and there will be work that needs to be done, performance tuning work, in order to be able to keep using that SQL Server. The other thing is there's proactive monitoring that's needed in order to be able to catch issues before they escalate. One thing we've seen a lot is, because we do database corruption repair, is people contact us, they end up with a corrupt database that can't be used, and they say, well, how do we fix it? And we look into it and say, well, did you have monitoring, or do you know when the corruption was introduced? And if it was introduced in the last couple of days, that's something that's usually easier for us to fix than if they say, well, the corruption was introduced in February last year and we ignored it until now because it didn't take the system down. So being able to be proactive and catch those things before they knock you out can make a big difference on your options for how to repair from it. And then making sure you've got good, robust backups and disaster recovery strategy. Sometimes I look at it and I say, well, one of the most important things that any DBA has to do is to know how to recover when disaster strikes. And if that first time you're having to recover from backup, you start out and you go to Google and you say, how do I recover from a SQL Server backup? Well, that's not a very good position to be in. You want to be in a position where you've practiced those and you know you can get them back. That can be the difference between a quick recovery time, 15 to 20 minutes for certain size databases, versus days of recovery time, figuring out what you did wrong on that first attempt. So practice on backups is and restoring those backups. And next week's podcast, we're actually going to talk about the importance of good backups and being able to restore those. So I guess that's kind of a teaser into that. And then the other thing you want to focus on is security measures like encryption and access controls. With SQL Server 2019 and newer, Microsoft introduced their transparent data encryption, which we talked about on a podcast a few weeks ago. And anyone running SQL Server 2019 or newer has the option to run transparent data encryption, which means your data is encrypted at rest. And with that, that means that it makes it more difficult for someone to steal that data. They can't just go take a backup and restore it somewhere and be able to steal your data. They've got to have the right keys in order to make that work. The other thing, too, to be aware of is the high cost. I know I touched on it briefly earlier, but the high cost of hiring a full-time DBA. And when I say that, the high cost of hiring a good full-time DBA, there's a lot of DBAs you can get out there real cheap, and then maybe they're not so good. I've worked with some of them over the years. Trust me, you want to make sure you get a good one. But when you're a small shop, you can't always afford that. And it's not just the salary, but it's the benefits and the equipment and all of that. I mean, do you have room for another full-time employee in your budget or in your office or in the whole plan? And then what do you do when that single full-time DBA is out? Hopefully part of the benefits for anybody you'd hire as a full-time DBA would include a vacation. What happens when that DBA takes off on vacation for 2 weeks this summer and you have a SQL Server outage? Well, I keep touching on other podcasts we did. We did a DBA on vacation podcast, and we talked about some of the problems that can happen on that. Well, that's the kind of thing that we can be there to help you with that. So there's a lot of things that you really need to know and you need to do to take care of your SQL Server. And part of it we can help you with some of our classes. Part of it we can help with Database Health Monitor and some of the monitoring and tuning we do in there, as well as some of the alerting. But one of the ways that we can really help a lot is with SQL Server Managed Services. And this is something where at Stedman Solutions, we do this regularly. We have a team of US-based database administrators. Many of them have over 20 years of experience with SQL Server and providing specialized SQL Server support. Now, this is a lot different than hiring someone out of college. And I always say the difference between a senior DBA and a junior DBA is that the senior DBA has already made those mistakes and learned from them so that they don't have to make them on your environment. Where the junior DBA, they haven't made the mistakes yet, and they're going to make them on your environment if you end up hiring someone that's super junior at that point. Part of what we do is, even though we do have some people involved who are less experienced than that, we always pair them with a senior DBA and someone with less experience so that we make sure we've always got the right coverage to avoid some of those more critical areas. The other thing we do with our managed services is we have an all-inclusive pricing model. What this means is we agree on a fixed rate price, and it's that price every month to take care of all the monitoring, all the maintenance, all the support, all the upgrades, and more on those SQL servers. There's no hidden costs. Now, occasionally you may ask us with managed services to go take care of something outside of the managed services agreement, take care of another server or help with something else. Yeah, there's fees with that. But as far as taking care of the SQL server in question, it is 100% covered, all maintenance, support, upgrades, and more. Now, as far as labor goes, when we talk about upgrades, you still have to buy your SQL Server licensing, of course, but we're there to take care of all of your SQL Server DBA needs through that managed services. And the other difference is, too, is we have a proactive approach where rather than waiting for something to fail, we work to make sure that the servers are in good shape, and using our proprietary tools. Well, we have our public tool, Database Health Monitor, that anybody can buy, but we also have proprietary tools built off of that that give us additional things like 24/7 monitoring and alerting when something goes wrong. All kinds of checks so that if something happens that puts you at risk where your backup's not going to be good, well, we know about it so we can deal with those kind of things earlier. Some of the key benefits that we have with that managed services is that we can help stabilize and give you optimization. We take care of the SQL Server, get it running well for you, figure out how to performance tune it and make it run faster, and basically put you in a position where you don't have to worry about it. And when I say worry about it, several of our customers that we've talked to said one of the things that we really give them, besides the DBA skills, is peace of mind. And peace of mind meaning that they don't lay awake at night thinking about their SQL Server and what happens if something goes wrong. They know we're there to take care of it. We also include that proactive monitoring. We help you with the security and compliance for things like implementing transparent data encryption. Yeah, if you need help with that, sure, you can talk to us. You can hire us to help you do it on an hourly gig, or with the managed services, we can do it as an all-in option to make sure you're taken care of. And we include reporting and status updates so we know that TDE is working well over time. We help with disaster recovery. We help make sure that you are prepared for a disaster. And then if disaster strikes, well, we do what we can to help you fix it. Well, we do what we can. We do more than that. Example is one of the clients we worked with, I think it was month 2 that we were working with them under a managed service agreement. They got hit with ransomware, totally unrelated to anything we'd worked on. We probably put in, I don't know, 80 to 100 hours. I'm just trying to guess, remember at that, maybe over 100 hours that month between two of us at the time to make sure that we were able to get all their systems back up and running. And that was the kind of thing, it would have been a game over scenario for them had we not got those servers up and running. But because of that, that was included in the same fee that they would have paid the next month when we weren't working 100 plus hours on it. And it didn't cost them anything extra. I don't like to use the word insurance, but we're there to cover when things happen. We'll get you back up and going. A big part of that is our focus on making sure that we've got disaster recovery taken care of to meet your expectations, whether it's just offsite backups or whether we're doing log shipping or something else. We had one client we worked with, we got them set up, I think it was about month 3 of working with them. We got them all set up with log shipping from one data center to another data center in a different region. And something happened in their primary data center literally the day we were finishing the log shipping setup. That other data center got knocked out and they completely lost access to that data center for several days. Had we not had that log shipping in place, they would not have been able to keep running their business based off of that. But because we had log shipping running as their disaster recovery scenario, we just activated the SQL servers on that other data center. It took us about an hour because it was the first time doing it with them. Now we've got the process all scripted and we can probably do it in about 10 minutes. But they had disaster recovery and business continuity taken care of because we'd built that all out as part of that managed service. The other thing with this is we can help with that one server environment in a very cost effective manner. When you look at the cost of hiring a full-time DBA, we're far less than that, way less than that for taking care of that single SQL server. And the other thing is, we don't give you just a single person to take care of that. We give you a team of 2 or 3, sometimes 4 people to make sure you're covered, so that if I'm on that team and I'm out on vacation, well, you know that 2 or 3 of our other team members have you covered. So you're never left hanging because someone's out of the office or on vacation or out sick or whatever it may be. The other thing that we offer with the managed services is we have mentoring and training. We can do monthly meetings, weekly meetings, or bi-weekly meetings as needed in order to be able to work with you and your team to make sure that we're giving you the information so you know your servers are taken well care of and that your team is learning along the way. We like to educate so that you know more, your team knows more, so that you can be in better shape to handle these things on your own down the road. Also, we offer free access to all of our Stedman Solutions online SQL Server courses that they vary in price from $5 to $10 up to several $100s. Those are all free, or not free, but included in the package for you and your team at no extra charge for that flat monthly rate for managed services. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, please click the thumbs up icon. And if you want to subscribe, click subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we have new videos. All right, have a great day.